This tutorial is for 5th grade, Module 4, Lesson 26. In this lesson, we'll be using tape diagrams to help us divide fractions by whole numbers. My first problem is 1/3 divided by 2. I'm going to start by showing the 1/3 on the tape diagram because that's our dividend. So I'm going to divide the tape into 3 equal pieces, and I'll shade in 1/3. And here's my 1/3. Now, the division problem says we're going to divide that into 2 equal pieces. I'm going to show that on the bottom tape so we can see how our answer relates to the 1/3 and to the whole tape. So I'll start by dividing my bottom tape into 3 equal pieces, and I'll shade in 1/3 on this tape as well. The next step then is to divide that bottom tape into the 2 equal groups. So I have 1/3, which matches the 1/3 at the top. I'm going to divide it into 2 groups. The answer to my division problem is how big is one of the groups? In order to answer that question, I need to show how this piece relates to the entire tape, which represents one whole. Well, in order to do that, I need to divide the other 2/3 into 2 pieces as well. So I'm going to divide those. So now the tape is divided into equal pieces. There are 6 equal pieces, so one piece would be 1/6. That means when I take 1/3, divide it into 2 equal groups, each piece is 1/6 when you compare it to the entire whole. Let's look at another example. This time I have 1/3 again, and I'm going to divide it into 4 equal pieces. I'll start the same way I did before. I'll divide the top tape into thirds, and I'm going to divide the bottom tape into thirds as well, and I'll shade in 1/3 in each tape. So I have 1/3. Now I need to divide that into 4 equal groups. So I'm going to do that down below on the bottom tape. I'll divide that into 4 pieces. Again, the answer to the division problem is how big is one of those pieces? In order to figure that out, I need to divide the other 2/3 into 4 groups as well. So I'll do that on this bottom tape, and that will show altogether that I have 12 pieces. So one piece is the same as 1/12. That means when you take 1/3 and divide it into 4 equal pieces, each piece is 1/12 of the whole. Here's another example. This time I'm going to start with 1/4, and I'm going to divide it by 2. So I'll divide my top tape into 4 equal pieces to show the fourths. I'll do the same on the bottom tape, and I'm going to shade in 1/4 on each of those. So I have 1/4. I'm going to divide it into 2 equal groups, and I'm going to do that in the tape below it. So I'll divide that into 2 equal pieces. The answer will be how big is that piece? In order to figure that out, I need to divide the rest of the fourths into 2 pieces as well. Once I do that, you can see there are 8 pieces that make up the whole. So one of those pieces is 1/8. 1/4 divided into 2 pieces would give me 1/8. We're going to do the same thing in the next section, only we're going to try to do it without using pictures. However, if you need to draw tape diagrams to do these problems, that is perfectly acceptable. The first question is 1/2 divided by 7. So if you can picture a tape diagram with 1/2 of it shaded in, and then that divided into 7 equal pieces. Each of those pieces would be 1/14, because the other half that's not shaded would also be divided into 7 pieces, and that would give you 14 pieces that make up the whole. So 1/2 divided into 7 pieces means that each piece would be considered 1/14. In the next problem, I have 1/3 divided by 6. So if you can picture a tape diagram with 1/3 shaded in, and then that third divided into 6 pieces, you would see that each piece would have to be 1/18, because the other 2/3 that were not shaded were also divided into 6 pieces. So altogether you have 18 pieces that make up the whole. One of those pieces is 1/18. And for question C, I have 1/4 divided by 5. I can picture a tape diagram divided into 4 equal pieces. One piece is shaded. That piece is divided into 5 sections. Each section would be 1/20th because the other 3/4 are also divided into 5 pieces. So altogether, you would have 20 pieces that make up the whole. 1/4 divided by 5 would give you a piece that is considered 1/20th of the whole. And finally, we have 1/5 divided by 4. I'm going to picture my tape diagram divided into 5 equal pieces. One piece is shaded. That piece is divided into 4 equal groups. Each of those pieces would be considered 1/20th because the other fifths were also divided into 4 equal groups. That made 20 pieces that made up the whole. So 1/5 divided by 4 would give you 1/20th as the final answer. We can use this same strategy to solve word problems. This problem says Tasha eats half her snack and gives the other half to her 2 best friends for them to share equally. What portion of the whole snack does each friend get? And we'll draw a picture to support our answer. I'm going to start by writing an answer statement so I know the goal of the question. So we'll say each friend gets blank of the whole snack, and we'll fill in that blank with a fraction. I'm going to start by drawing the whole snack, and I'll use that as a tape diagram. So we'll call this the whole, and I'm going to divide it in half because Tasha eats half of the snack. So we'll show that this portion is what Tasha ate. This portion is what she gave to her friends. Now we know that she divided this portion into 2 pieces, so I'm going to draw a tape down below to show that she took that half and divided it into 2 pieces. And that way she could give the pieces to friend 1 and friend 2. The question is, how big is each of these pieces? In order to figure that out, I need to compare each of these pieces to the whole snack. Well, since we divided this half into 2 pieces, let's divide Tasha's half into 2 pieces as well. So I'm going to draw a line right down the middle. Now you can see that we have 4 pieces that make up the whole. Each of those pieces is 1/4. So each friend gets 1/4 of the whole snack. And I'll fill that in my answer statement. Each friend gets 1/4 of the whole snack. Let's look at one more question. This one says Mrs. Appler used 1/2 gallon of olive oil to make 8 identical batches of salad dressing. How many gallons of olive oil did she use in each batch of salad dressing? So I'll start by writing my answer statement for this first question. I'll say she used blank gallons of olive oil for each batch. Now if we go back to the question, it says that she has a 1/2 gallon and she's using that for 8 batches. So if we go back to the question, it says she used a 1/2 gallon and she's using it for 8 batches. I'm going to start by drawing a tape to represent the whole gallon. So I'll draw the tape and I'll label this as 1 gallon of olive oil. Now she used half of that, so we're going to divide that in half. And I'll shade in this portion to show that that is the half that she used for the salad dressing. Now she used this for 8 batches, so let's divide this into 8 pieces. Each piece would represent the amount she used for each batch. But the question is, how big is each piece? In order to figure that out, I'll divide the other half into 8 pieces as well. That would give us 16 pieces that make up the whole gallon, and one piece would be 1/16. So she used 1/16 of a whole gallon for each batch of salad dressing. The next question is, how many cups of olive oil did she use in each batch? Well, there are 16 cups in 1 gallon. And if she used 1/16 of a gallon for each batch of salad dressing, then she used 1 cup of olive oil for each batch, because 1 cup is 1/16 of a gallon.